This episode on themesh.tv is sponsored by The Sock Factory, making quality socks in North Carolina since 1975. Producers of Crazy Compression, William Tucker, and Fit Sock, The Sock Factory has something for everyone. Find out more at thesockfactory.com.
What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Hello and welcome to Street Circle Drive here on The Mesh, the world famous Street Circle Drive, the world famous top rated show about Hickory,
North Carolina.
Just
in case.
Done by The Mesh. No, I know that there's people listening because I watch the stats every day obsessively. But thanks for tuning in. We are here on The Mesh as usual. Hope you are checking out all the other shows on The Mesh. TheMesh.tv is our website. You can also find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. I'm Mary Margaret. I've got McNally. Say hello.
Hello.
And Moose.
What's up, Hickory Nuts?
Hickory Nuts. Did you know that? Wait. Before we even go any further, we have a special guest here with us today.
Other than me.
And it's another M.
It's what we do well.
And so we've got Moose, Mary Margaret, McNally, and Mark here today. I'm going to let McNally take the lead on this, but I think I know where you're going with the hashtag Hickory Nuts. I'd like you to pitch it in your opening of our special guest. Take it away.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that wonderfully choppy introduction to my introduction.
Scattered brain.
But I like it.
Because you know what? You know what we don't do here? Plan.
All right, folks. Well,
that's not true. I've been here 2 minutes.
Exactly.
You guys planned for like 120 seconds. How long does it take,
right? Did. You're right.
Come on.
Talent. That's
Give yourself
talent.
A little credit.
Multitasking.
110 seconds.
When you're pros, Mark, that's all it takes.
That's it.
Well,
that was probably just for my benefit.
We wanted to make you feel like you're stepping into a world-class production here, so right? Just, we wanted to make sure we put on a show for you.
I appreciate that.
We like our guests to feel comfortable.
You want people that don't do this all the time to think, man, there's a lot that goes into that.
That's right.
Yeah.
They planned for like 2 minutes.
But if they know us, not me, then they know really the bar is low. So,
but I mean, the truth is, we are all about the learning because our producer today is the intern in there. Oh, Elijah Moon's back at the helm again. Hey. He can't speak. We don't give him a microphone or anything.
Yeah, we're not crazy. He is an intern.
Let's not get out of control.
We want him to feel like you have to work hard to become one of the talent.
Yes.
You get an intern. Can you get like a government grant for that or something?
Yes.
Talent is such a loose term around here.
With all that said, we are pleased to welcome Mark Seaman, General Manager of your Hickory CrawDADs. We are fast approaching baseball season, although I'm sure you feel like that right when baseball season ends, that you're fast approaching the next baseball season.
Never ends.
So we really appreciate you taking the time to be here. And what Mary Margaret was alluding to earlier with the Hickory Nuts, I kind of laughed at this and so I did not know that's what what I would have thought were like Hickoryites or Hickoryans. Well, that's
Hickoryans,
that
sounds appropriate.
Yeah, probably not. But so we're Hickory Nuts. I think that you guys should have a special day where the CrawDADs become the Hickory Nuts for a day. New Jersey's everything. The Charlotte Knights did one with something crazy. It was like
did a Spanish.
Well, and they did a bacon one or something crazy.
That was
what?
A team up north did a bacon one. I can't think of the name of the team off the top. Yeah,
I'm just saying
bacon,
we have the opportunity
bacon
here.
Strips.
Yep.
Bacon on their uniforms.
Let's be honest. If Crawl Moms went over so well,
and that's where we're starting.
Then I think Hickory Nuts is a great idea.
I'm real happy to see Mark here because I thought he passed away the way they were dragging him across the internet a couple weeks ago.
You know, though, what do they say? Right? As long as they're talking about it.
Hey, that's right, man.
Exactly.
That's right.
I know a little bit about marketing, and that was phenomenal.
They definitely were talking about it.
Can they not take a joke?
I
Do
thought
they
it
not
was
realize
brilliant.
what's going on? I don't get it at all.
It's marketing.
Come on, Hickory Nuts.
I'm gonna buy
give
a
it
shirt for the missus. That's a phenomenal idea.
So just as a little background, the CrawDADs tease us all week saying they're going to make this big announcement. And lately with some things we're going to touch on in a minute, there's been big announcements to share from the CrawDADs.
Had a few things going on.
Right, so everybody thought this was a big deal, and we get on there and this like Mark's in a suit in front of with the CrawDADs with the mascots and stuff, and I'm watching and Candy. I mean, they're both out there.
Big deal on both of them.
We had both of them.
Yes, and it was
Talk about raising the bar.
it was live on Facebook, like live press, and he announces that they're changing their name to the Crawl Moms, and people lost their shit. And I'm going to say that right now. We're going to beat that out. But people lost their minds on this thing. I mean, there was somebody that said they hoped Conrad had cancer.
I know. How dare them? How dare them?
Bad.
It was very interesting. We got a few phone calls. And then, obviously, I don't think any of you called. Our people were answering the phone, Hickory Crawl Moms.
It had to be just people that can't take a joke in this over-dramatized political PC world we live in, thinking, they're not taking away my CrawDADs.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
I mean, I guess we realized how passionate people were about it.
Yeah.
If nobody would have noticed, we might have, I'd rather have this than, nobody even noticed. Not
point.
even a blip on the screen. So,
That's a good
obviously,
point.
I think a lot of people didn't actually read the press release we put out right after that. Well, I'm making the assumption that people know who Marge Simpson and Peter Griffith are, and so
Right.
they didn't read it, or else they would have figured maybe something's a little funny here.
Or it just gives a good insight to the fan base.
Well,
The ones that called.
yeah.
You can't say that, but I just did. It's a joke, people. And it was a phenomenal marketing idea.
It was. We sold. We do a Valentine's Day package. Conrad will go out and
That's
deliver
great.
tickets and usually CrawDad shirts. We did 20 packages this year, and 10 of them requested Crawl Mom shirts.
Yeah,
Yes.
there it is.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, see, and I got family in Louisiana, which is a whole nother, set of folks to talk about. But they always give me a hard time that what's a crawdad because they, it's
In Louisiana, do you know what New Orleans changed their name to a couple of years ago?
the baby or cake babies or the baby
cakes.
Yeah,
They're now the New Orleans baby
from
cakes.
the Zephyrs. What were
Yes,
they?
the Zephyrs.
Yeah,
were
and now they're the
Zephyrs.
baby cakes.
So I think you can give it right back to them.
Yes.
As far as names go.
Yeah, exactly.
Baby
and they got
cakes.
that logo with the actual little kid
Baby
coming out
looks
of
like
it.
he's
Yeah.
in a donut or something.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Minor leagues they have some
It's getting a
they
little.
have some flexibility in there.
Yes.
Absolutely. And we actually, Moose and I were discussing it the day that it happened because we were just watching for fun. The comments roll in. And
It just kept coming.
They did. I mean, people were mad. And we were discussing because I used to live in Charleston, and the River Dogs there, who are partly owned by Bill Murray, had, at least when I lived there, had quite the reputation for some pretty extreme promotions, done by their group. And I mean, I was there for No Man Night when they locked the doors and wouldn't let anybody in so that they could get the Guinness Book of World Records for lowest attendance.
They let everybody in after the 5th inning,
Which
when
counts.
The attendance was
I
official.
never heard of that one.
Yeah, but
and
they locked the gates, and you were watching the game from the fence.
They had ladders out in the parking lot, and they did like a tailgate thing in the parking lot. They got a ton of publicity on that deal.
Hilarious.
And had the world record for a while, And then I was also there for the Father's Day promo.
I knew you were going. That's where you were headed.
Yeah,
I knew you were headed.
The
there.
Father's Day promo, which was all dads that came in there and took a little ticket. If you were a dad and had your kid there with you, you got a ticket, and then they drew one at the end of the night for a free vasectomy. And it was the Father's Day special.
They ended up canceling that. They didn't actually go through with it.
No.
They
With the
got
actual procedure?
such a backlash on it.
It was a
They
hot
canceled
mess.
it. Actually,
Why
they
did they
didn't
get
actually.
backlash? You know what my wife would have been like? You're going to that game.
And been like,
You're taking all three of the
you get
kids and you're
3
getting
kids.
3 entries.
Yeah.
I think Charleston's a big Catholic area, and I think that's where a lot of that backlash came from.
And
That's
I think
true.
it was just some of the old Southern stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Willie Nelson out on the grass out there whenever it was.
Say that again.
Right. Yes. Our grass was the field. And
Times 2 on Willie there.
Yeah, and Bill Murray even joked about how, that's the reason that the outfield was so green and stuff. And it was just, they have that flexibility, but I was super pleased to see you guys taking a chance on something like that.
It was
I
fun.
mean,
We really enjoyed it.
Why
It was
not?
fun to do, and we did get some pushback that we waited so long. because we waited about 5 hours.
Oh, no.
I mean, and in today's world,
Yes.
you talk about with
Let
phones
them
all the time.
stew. Let them stew.
I know. I mean, we talk about phones all the time. Somebody now doesn't text you back in 10 minutes. You think they fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
The old days, you actually had to call and leave somebody a message, and it might be 4 days before you hear from them.
That's right.
So now, and everything's instant, and I think that's part of why, like you said,
Yeah.
it was only 5 hours, and that was a Friday. So we talked at one time about letting it go over the weekend.
You might have not come back to a stadium.
That's what we were afraid of. The place might have been burned down.
Yeah.
So we decided not to go that route.
Well, I do think there's a Hickory Nut Night, and then just we'll figure it out.
Now, is that official, or is that a mesh
I'm
thing?
taking mine from.
That's what I was told growing up. There was even like a couple of groups that were, Hickory Nuts that were. It was just that's what I was always told we were called, but. I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily written down, but nobody else has ever told me different.
Yeah, and you're on the official podcast for Hickory, so I say now it's official.
Yes.
I think that's really neat.
Why not, right?
I think that I had no idea. I've never
Own
heard
it.
that before.
We'll come up with some
We're gonna
graphics
take
as a
that.
shirt.
Oh, easy.
We'll just when's the city's founding? Let's
How do we tie
deep
that
dive. Let's do
into
it.
vasectomy night?
Well,
I got it.
Pretty easily.
Tie?
Yeah, yes. Tie that in.
Man, you're good.
Hickory no nuts.
It's just natural to you.
I'm out, guys.
I'm
Thanks.
done.
I
It's not going to get
appreciate
any
it.
better
I'm
than
done.
this. Well,
Wow, that's amazing.
We had several things to talk to you about, and one of them was promotions and things. Of course, we've already started heading down that road. So
Yeah.
We're already planning for 2019. Hickory nuts. I mean,
Exactly.
can't wait. Just switch it for a day. I'm telling you, this
That's
will be
right.
great. So talk a little bit about, obviously we briefly touched on, it has been a busy off season even prior to the Valentine's Day promotion and change. Talk about some of the things that have gone on. I know there's been a change in ownership, and with that, and even pre-ownership, was discussion and plans, and now they've taken place with some upgrades to the stadium. However you want to take that, maybe in the direction that maybe there's sequential or however you want to approach that. But tell us a little bit about what's been going on in the off season for the CrawDADs. Or
well, we
Moms.
just hibernated like bears.
Yeah.
I just woke up to come here for this.
Yeah, I'm glad you shaved. That's nice.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah.
So, no, we've had, obviously, as you mentioned, a lot of things going on. We got the Rangers, which a lot of people don't know, but that was in the works for about a year before that actually took place. As you can imagine, all the paperwork and legalese and all that stuff. So we had that take place, and then we worked out an arrangement with the city on a partnership to put in a brand new field. In fact, it's still sand right now. They're hoping to put sod down next week, and then a new fence in the outfield, and it was just plywood on the lower level. And then we put a new fence out there with padding from player safety concern, and they're spending all that money on those guys. The guy runs through the plywood wall and breaks his leg. It's especially with the
There have
Rangers
been some
owning
good
them
clips
now.
of that in other stadiums.
There has been. You've seen that, so that wouldn't look too good for the Rangers. So we have that going on. Of course, the tornado helped us a little bit. Took about half that wall down on its own. So either way, we were putting a new wall on.
Wow. That's
then
perfect timing.
Yeah, it
I
really
didn't
was. It
realize
worked
that.
out
Yeah.
well. Worked out well. And then we put new netting. As you guys know, we have netting that covers all the seats, which we've had for 10 years. And we don't really hear anything else about it right now. So I don't know if the people that complained about having to sit behind the netting, some people complain they had to sit behind the netting. If they just don't
Got
come
used to
anymore,
it. Yeah.
or they got used to it, or what the case is. But so we'll still have the same area will be covered, but we also have removed all but the two end poles.
Okay.
So from a sightline standpoint, and I think that's going to be one of those things, you look at somebody and you're like, something's different about you, and then you don't know what it is, and maybe they got a haircut or different glasses or something. And I think that's going to be one of those things people aren't going to necessarily pick up. They're not going to know. I mean, you're going to see, you're going to be able to tell, I think, the field. You're going to be, obviously, the padding in the wall, you're going to notice that. You're going to notice the fences down the lines are going to be different. So all that's going to be obvious.
Let me stop you real quick because I'm curious. How does what does it mean to get a new field? Like, what are you doing? Are you literally taking up just grass and stuff and then kind of tilling it? Or is it, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
No,
what
that's a
is
good
that?
question. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't understand. I mean, because it's enclosed, obviously, so I don't understand what it means to get a new field.
Yeah, well, what they did is they took the whole field, meaning outfield, infield, dirt, mound, plate, warning track, and they went down 10 inches. Basically, just brought in a bulldozer and just scooped 10 inches all the way around. And then they'll come back in and they'll put new, in the outfield and the infield, they'll put new sand. They'll level it out. They'll put in some organic materials, some growth material, and then basically put a new sub base and the warning track, which is gravel to help with drainage. And then they'll put just new warning track material on the warning track. Now on the field part, before they did the sand, they actually replaced a lot of the drainage because it hadn't been done in 25 years. A lot of those pipes were broken, and they had to replace that stuff. So they replaced those pipes, put new sand in. They'll come back. They'll just put sod right over top of that. They'll rebuild the mound. They'll bring in new clay for the infield and the mound and the plate, and there you go.
Wow.
So, I mean, level it out and all that. And you just get, like anything else, like your yard. You know, you're mowing your yard, and all of a sudden you twist your ankle in a hole that wasn't there the last time you mowed your yard because it settles. I mean, and, you know, a field's no different. A baseball field's no different than that. It settles over time, and really you should do it about every 10 to 12 years. And this is the first time we've ever done it.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
It's never
wow.
been done in 20. We've done the infield, but never the entire field
Wow.
in 25 years. So it was definitely overdue.
Mark, new Jumbotron too, right?
And the last thing is we have a new video board, and actually just that one is like ahead of schedule. It just got turned on, and right here at the end of February got turned on, and then we actually our staff will start training on it on the 1st of March or the March, whatever Monday is, the 5th or whatever. So yeah, the new video board, which will this actual square footage of it is smaller, if that makes sense, but it's just one rectangle, and
Yes.
it's all video.
Yes.
So the line score,
Oh, really?
everything will all be in the video.
Oh.
Okay.
So you can do, if there's a home run, the whole screen will just flash home run.
I gotcha.
And you have different
Where
sections.
beforehand you had stats on one side, you had
and
player.
before we had the line score on the bottom.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we just had the old video board up top.
Yes.
Yes.
That wasn't very clear, obviously. I mean, it's 12, 14 years old, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And so it's clear. You can show. We'll actually have a wireless camera, and so we'll be able to go around. We're not going to show any game footage. And
Is that a rule of the?
No, you can do it. We opted not to do it because of the expense involved.
Yeah.
Because every night you got to have 3 to 4 camera operators plus somebody. I mean, you guys know, plus somebody to actually run the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's a lot of employee cost just to be able to show replays.
Yep.
So we will have a wireless camera that won't show any game footage, but like on-field promotions, and you can do all those things, kiss cam, and just things like that.
That's awesome.
So that part of it would be really neat, and that video board it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Like I said, when it came on, it's bright. I don't know.
Fresh.
I look at it every day.
Yeah.
So you get used to it pretty quick.
Right.
I think when people see it for the first time, they're going to be pretty impressed.
Nice.
So we're
I
excited
will tell
about
you,
it.
we drove out there recently, and we came to see you actually, and my kids and I, and we came down there and turned. I mean, my kids were like, "What happened?" Because the field is just not there,
no,
and there
it's
were
gone.
big mounds of stuff on it at that time. And I mean, this was a few weeks ago, and so it was like, I mean, my kids were a little worried. They don't grasp that it was being redone, but yeah.
And certainly weather's put the field behind. We
I
went to
bet,
that
yeah.
stretch. We had about 2 or 3 weeks where it was frozen.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do anything. And then it's just been wet. And, they can do some things, but it's just to the point where it's just
When's home opener?
April 12th.
Feeling good about
Yeah.
having it?
Yeah. We actually better be ready before that because they'll be in town around
That's
April
true.
1st and do some in practice and whatnot. We
Practicing.
open on the road on April
a month.
5th.
So
Yeah. If they get grass down next week, we'll be fine.
yeah.
So it's close. It's interesting. It's between that and then we did the renovations back between 13 and
So
14,
you had some-
and with the new suites and the new cafe,
clubhouse,
and,
right? When
we haven't done anything with the clubhouse.
What was it?
It's on the list.
It's a cafe.
Batting
maybe I'm
cage.
thinking. Yeah, that's
There's
what I'm
2
thinking.
batting
of.
cages, and we turned the old batting cage into a weight room.
That's
and so
what it was.
25
So
years
players
old.
were kind of here and there and everywhere for
Exactly.
the bit. Yeah, I remember that.
Exactly. So it's with all that stuff, it's interesting. It's almost like a brand new stadium.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
very
so
cool.
That's good.
What's
It's good for
the-
Gary. Oh, and with the partnership on all the stuff that we've done, the Rangers, we originally the original lease was for 15 years. Then we had another 15-year lease, which would have expired in 2022. But the Rangers have added 5 years onto that, so now we're signed through 2027.
Nice.
So, and I don't really, you never know what's going to happen in the world, but I just don't. There's no plans, I don't think, for the Rangers to go anywhere at this point.
And they're probably easy for me to say, probably less inclined than an individual owner or smaller ownership group that might have more of their eggs in the basket of a team
Exactly.
that's in a situation or here like
I
ours.
mean, why would you want to leave a rabid fan base like the Craw
They're
Moms?
rabid.
That's right,
Obviously.
with the Craw Moms. So, and then their high A's in Kinston, North Carolina.
And they own
They own them
Down
as well.
East Wood Ducks.
The Down East Wood Ducks. That's it.
in good old K-Town.
That's it. So with it being that close, I just don't see
How many? I've never heard of that before. You guys went through that process of the actual parent team owning their minor league franchises. Is that something that's somewhat regular, or is it 50-50? I mean, is there more of it?
There is more.
Okay.
The brief history of it is in the old days, the major league teams owned all their minor league affiliates, and they basically didn't do anything on the business side. It was a place for their players to play, and they sold tickets, and people came. Great if they didn't. Oh well.
And it was like the Braves own the Braves, and then the Indians own the Indians. That type of
Exactly.
thing.
That's why all the old names were all matched up just like that. Exactly right. Then somebody, said, "Hey, you know what? I make a few bucks doing this if I put a little sweat equity in it." And says, "Hey, I'll tell you what, the Rangers, the Indians, the Braves, whoever, I'll take that team off your hands." And then he worked it as his business.
Right.
And then he's able to make
still
money.
treat this for the player development process.
Yeah, still had the relationship with the big league club for the player development, and then they worked it as a business. They were able to make some money, and then that kind of snowballed to more and more teams doing that. I mean, even as late as probably the late 80s, I mean, you could have probably bought some minor league teams literally for as low as maybe $100,000.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So they basically all went that direction, except for a few, most of them being the Braves, actually.
Yeah.
The Braves own all their own affiliates but one.
Gwinnett. Because they're changing their name.
They own Gwinnett. They are changing their name. They own the team in Rome. They own the team in Mississippi, which used to be in Greenville. But they don't own the team in the Florida State League.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what it was in. It's bounced around. It was in Zebulon for a little while. It was in Lynchburg for a little bit. But anyway, so they don't own that team. But now major league clubs are starting to get back into it because, again, there's a lot of the way a player development agreement works is you can either sign for 2 years or 4 years, and after that time you can look around if you want to. And so if the Rangers, for instance, in our case, say, hey, we want these upgrades for the playing field. And we say, okay, the city's going to put in X dollars, and in the old days, not that old, but last year, the old ownership says we'll put in X dollars, and the Rangers say they'll put in X dollars, we'll do the field and all that, and then 2 years from now, we say, you know what, Rangers, we're going to go with somebody else. They've invested that money, and they've kind of lost their investment.
Yeah.
So now it's starting to swing back that direction. In fact, the Brewers just bought the team in Zebulon.
The Mudcats?
The Mudcats, yep. They're owned by the Brewers now, and then the team in Syracuse, I believe Syracuse, the Mets just bought them, which is an interesting situation because they still have 1 year left on their player development agreement with Colorado, with another team.
Oh, wow.
Which is going to be interesting because they're basically going to have to play out this year with the Mets ownership, but with another affiliate owning the team. So I'm sure they'll work it out, but it's an interesting dynamic.
More spots for Tebow to end up at.
That's right. That's right. If he can stay away from those sprinkler heads. So
What about Macon, Georgia? Do they still have a team?
They do not.
Oh, the Whoopie. They used to have the Whoopie.
Macon Whoopie. That was a hockey team.
There was a minor league team too, right?
The Macon Braves, wasn't it?
It was the Macon Braves, I think.
Look this
Obviously,
up.
first of
I
all,
think it was
Mary
the
Margaret doesn't care what sport it was.
I really don't.
I think
She
it
just
was
wanted
a
to put in the
hockey
Macon Whoopie reference.
I just wanted to say
She was
Macon
dying
Whoopie.
for that.
I just wanted to say it. Macon
Whoopie.
Somebody had a team though
They did.
named Macon Whoopie,
They did.
right?
They did.
Ice hockey.
Ice hockey. Is it currently?
According to Wikipedia here, looks like they were in the Central Hockey League from 1996 to 2001.
2001.
Yeah,
96?
maybe 2002.
You might have to get a vintage shirt for that. That'd be a
You
good one
probably
to
got them
collect.
around, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they were. They were probably.
That hockey's a tough deal. 'Cause
Big
you've
deal.
got the minor league hockey teams, they pay their players.
Out of the
Out
individual.
of the operating, out of the business side.
Ooh,
So that's a little bit tougher business model than minor league
it's a
baseball.
tough get right
No
there.
kidding.
It is a tough game.
Well, especially with some of those arrangements now where they bring in, I mean, I guess the parent league team would pay
They help them some. They may bring in a guy and say they're going to cover his
Drop him out,
salary.
drop him out.
But the other problem you run into with hockey is you're beholden somewhat to the arena. And then the arena may say, you know what, we're bringing the circus in for a week.
They're never the primary tenant.
No, absolutely not. And so you don't always get great dates. In fact, I think that's what's happened with the Checkers.
I'm sure.
And that's why they left or at Bojangles now. Because they left the
Spectrum Center.
Is it Spectrum now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I was going to say Time
Warner
Warner,
Cable,
but
yeah.
right.
And we've
So-
we've been through like all those with all of our venues, right?
Yeah.
The names and everything.
That's right.
Making bacon.
Making Bacon.
Yes.
Was it a baseball team?
Yes. Well, they're saying
That's
they're
another-
changing the name, right?
That's another great name.
Yeah. Baseball team name finals announced. Making bacon.
For making, it must be a summer league team.
Coastal Plain League.
That's a summer wooden bat league team. College kids play in that.
So it's like the
same as
Holly Springs
Gastonia.
Salamanders.
Yeah, that's right. The
Yes.
Gastonia team, the Forest City team.
I don't know if Forest City had one.
All wood bat league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so,
Yeah,
We're the
uh,
college players on the
kids,
loan.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
And see,
five-
that's a good deal because you don't have to pay the players because they're still getting they're
Amateur.
still
They're
amateurs.
Amateurs, yeah.
Yep.
So their finalist names are the Making Soul, Making Hits, Making Heat, Making Noise, and Making Bacon.
Gotta
No
go
way
making
Making Bacon
I
doesn't win.
mean,
Gotta
you
go
gotta-
Making Bacon.
Got to.
Absolutely. Forest City, their stadium was actually built by the guy that owns the
McNair.
Texans.
McNair. Yeah, Bob McNair.
McNair, that's
He's
it.
from there.
Yeah, that's right. That's a pretty nice little stadium.
Yeah.
So what? I mean, I know you got all these cool promotions and stuff that come out during the year. Do you have anything unique other than some crawl moms coming up this year, or anybody visiting? I always get excited when there's that like one really good.
What's the disco night that had the White Sox that
They did the
Stadium
record.
Stadium.
Actually, the guy that owns Charleston,
Yes.
Mike Veck,
Yeah.
he's the one that did the disco night.
Yeah.
Bill Veck's son, and he got fired. Got ran out of baseball for it.
Mike
They
Beck
had to
said
big
cancel.
problem.
They had to cancel the
The
second
game.
game of the doubleheader.
Yeah.
it's kind of a dirty
People
word
got
in Charleston.
turned, to
Mike
say
Beck.
the least.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Not big fans, huh?
I mean, he's kind of dangerous, you know. I mean, in the sense of that,
you just
it's
never
a
know what you're going to get.
Loose cannon.
Yeah, absolutely. I could
Yeah.
see that. I
Yeah.
could see that absolutely.
So, in the past, and as I play the typical girl on the podcast, there was that one guy that came that played for the Braves that retired.
Dale
and
Murphy.
Dale Murphy, thank you.
Murph.
And he comes and he signs baseballs, and it's a
Right.
big deal. I saw a grown man in tears getting a baseball signed by Dale Murphy because of the impact from that guy's generation of what he
Right.
saw of Dale Murphy. Anyway, you got anybody? Oh, and there's been some other cool ones. Obviously, the guy from Duck Dynasty, maybe.
We
Was
did
it-
have Mountain Man from Duck
Mountain
Dynasty.
Man, that's right. Yes,
And we've had some wrestlers.
yes.
Say wrestlers or wrestlers?
Wrestlers.
Wrestlers.
Okay, big difference.
Absolutely. We had wrestlers grappling out there.
Ooh, I like
Yes,
like that?
yes.
We are still working on celebrities for this
Okay.
year. We've kind of run into a snag of they're not cheap.
Yeah,
And
yeah. No
quite
matter
frankly-
how quote unquote celebrity they are,
That's right.
Doesn't matter, right?
And there's only a certain amount of money you can really recoup
Yeah.
by bringing them in. And we've kind of at a point we've ran through a lot of the ones
Yeah.
that make sense.
Especially local, like regional area.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we've looked at other Braves players, and some of those guys want a lot of money,
Yeah.
more than we could
Yeah.
possibly recoup.
Yeah.
So unless somebody comes in and says, "Hey, the Joe's Radiator," and he's a huge Dale Murphy fan, he's like,
Right.
"You know what? I'll pay the money if I get a chance for a 5-minute meet and greet
Get
with them."
dinner with them or something,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Then we just can't afford to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we don't have a lot of right now celebrities planning to come in, unfortunately, this
yeah.
year.
What else you got?
We
You
got
can get us cheap just to throw it out.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Street Circle Drive will be happy
I'll
to
do
do
it
that.
for I'll do it for the Colossal Challenge.
Colossal Challenge.
Yes, without having to pay for it.
Oh wow, we can make that happen. That's what you guys can do on opening night. You can do the podcast out there and do the Colossal Challenge.
I'm not as familiar, obviously, as
You don't know what the
Shut
Colossal
up.
Challenge is?
Michael McNally
could.
is kind of
here we go. Yes.
This is kind of his game. This is his thing. All right, so everybody hold your breath and be quiet, and let's let Mark tell us what the Colossal Challenge is.
The Colossal Challenge is you get 6 outs. So it's not a timed like
Oh, I like it. One inning.
yeah, so you get 1 inning. So, depending if you get an inning with pitching changes, you're in good shape. If you get a 1-2-3 inning, not so much. So it is a foot-long, half-pound hot dog. with chili and cheese on it. It is pub chips, a hamburger, barbecue sandwich, corn dog, and what am I forgetting?
Onion
Cheese
rings.
sticks and onion rings.
Oh, you got that. You got
put
that.
like this.
All on top, all mixed together.
Yes. I mean, now
Wow.
this has got your name written all over it.
6 outs.
I mean,
No problem.
I
I think I could honestly. I could go 3 up,
Put it on
3
your
down.
calendar, mark it down.
We'll put you down.
I'm so
We'll put you
excited.
down.
If we could do this as a like as podcast / promotional fanfare for Street Circle Drive,
It would be our food
Oh,
segment,
absolutely.
everything on.
it would be
Absolutely.
all in one.
Oh,
and we
yeah.
would talk about the crawdads again for a second episode.
What we could do is we'll just sit you at the table right there on the local. See, you do it. Also, you got to do it. You can't just do it off in the corner. You do it right there in front of everybody
Sure.
on the lower concourse. So we'll set you guys up a table. You'll do your deal right there, and then while you're doing it, you can do the colossal challenge
Who says we don't plan?
all the way around.
Look at us planning right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How many successful is this? I mean, I'm sure it's.
Been doing
It's
it for a
happened.
while.
50-50.
We've had less than that.
Is it?
Yeah, less than 50-50.
Because you get people that come up on a crappy inning where it's just 3 up, 3 down, and they're done.
Sometimes they get a quick inning, and you're like, that person, guy or girl, we've had both guys and girls try it. Sometimes you're like, they might have had a shot if they had a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Then you've had some people and said, they could have taken all 9 innings and they never would have put it all in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
I mean, I'm not excited about onion rings and a corn dog, but I can make it happen.
and a disclaimer.
Eat 'em first.
It's typically even the
Exactly.
ones
I've already
that,
had strategies.
typically the ones that do it, they walk away. They know they've done it.
They feel like,
Yeah.
oh wow,
They've done it.
Yeah, so does their toilet probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
McNally's
interesting.
pretty used to that, though. You'll find out in our restaurant segment.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you scheduling a Thirsty Thursday on my birthday, too, Mark. That was mighty
Not
nice
a problem.
of you.
That's we had to trade a few dates, but we made it work.
Yeah, sure. Looks like the Making Whoopies are playing. It's May
Yes.
May 24th. It looks like with a D with a bird on it. Who's those guys?
Delmarva
Delmar.
Shorber.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So, what else is going on over there? I know
We really are wearing Craw Mom's jerseys for Mother's Day
Mother's Day.
weekend.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I think it's great.
It's a great promotion.
Jersey, so that'll be good.
And it gives me, I mean, as a mom, as the only mom at the table here, I'm all for it.
That's right.
I am here for it.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
all about it. Now, I don't
And
know.
we're giving away Craw Mom's replica jerseys on the Saturday before Mother's Day.
Excellent.
That's very cool.
Sign up.
And I just wanted to kind of give a quick heads up because I don't know that everybody quite gets. And this, we don't have to go into huge detail, but it's just another way. I know Mark's extremely involved in the community, which is fabulous. And we've all had our interactions with you and stuff. But the CrawDADs bring in interns, per se, on some of your staff, your game day staff, right?
Correct.
And there's a constant turnover, and I feel like a lot of these interns, from especially some people that I've known in the past and whatnot, have gone on to, some pretty big teams or are going across the country in different places. And, I feel like if I am friends with them on social media or whatever, I see that they all leave with like a little special part of Hickory in their heart. And so what's the process for getting people in there? You recruit from colleges or do they apply?
They typically apply. There's a website called Teamwork Online
Okay.
that basically specializes in sports. They have colleges, they have all sorts of things, and we'll just post it on there, and they apply, and we get them from, like you said, all over the place. We've all really. It'd be interesting. I've never really thought about it before, but I'd like to know over the last 10 years or so how many different states we've had people from, because we've had people from as far away as California and Oregon. Catherine, who I think you guys all know.
She's actually been on the Mesh before on
Yeah,
another show.
yeah.
On Chick Chat.
She's been gone for a little while now, but she left, went to the Knights for a little while, and now she works for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Our groundskeeper that was here previously, 2 ago, is now the guy in Birmingham, which is a AA groundskeeping job, and so
That would be a neat stat. One, where did everybody come from?
Yeah, I'd like to know
And
how
they
many
all
states
meet
we
in
have come.
We
Hickory.
could put up a
And then where do they
map
go?
on the wall and
Yeah.
just start pinning them.
that's
Absolutely.
because I know I'm just off the top of my head New York, and we've had Michigan. I don't know.
Wisconsin.
We've had Wisconsin. I don't know if we've ever had anybody from the Dakotas. I'm not even sure anybody lives in the Dakotas. I've never
Goals.
actually met anybody from
Goals for you. Your
That
goal
is.
is to now look for
That'll be the
Dakota.
first question.
Absolutely.
Where are you from? Oh, you're from California? We get people from there all the time.
Never mind.
You're out.
Do you know anybody from the Dakotas? Send them our
Yes.
way. Well, that's awesome. I always think it's neat. You know, you're bringing in. They're here for relatively short time, but you run a season with interns.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, you
interesting.
have full-time staff too, but
Right.
you know, it's a small batch over there to do what I consider kind of a big deal. So
The best way, people really don't know. Obviously, you guys do. I've had interaction with you guys in different ways, but you know what we do. And a couple months ago, I said to somebody, it's basically like planning 70 weddings. And that was probably the best way. That kind of their eyes finally lit up and said, now I kind of
Yeah.
understand what goes on. Because every event is most important. And you mentioned, kids. If you have your birthday party out there, that is
It's
the
only
most
one
important
birthday party
thing.
for them that
That's
year.
it. That's
Yes.
it. That is the most. Whether it's a Tuesday or a Friday or whatever it is, that is it for you, which is fine. But we have to take it that way, treat it that way as well. So it's interesting for each game and having new people every year. And luckily, we do have a good base that we've had for a little while.
yeah. Well, I know I'll be working a couple of games coming up soon with the nonprofit groups, because you let charity groups or churches or school groups, whatever
Yep.
it may be, get to come in and work a concession stand, which is always a good time. It's hot, but it's a good
hot.
time. People really enjoy working the fries and the hamburgers and stuff.
And you can make some decent money.
Absolutely. You get a cut of it. You get
Yep.
a cut of the concessions that night, which
That's
is
right.
easy peasy, you know?
Yep.
And then also I can vouch for the birthday parties. My daughter's had one there and it was just loved it. I mean, she was a 5-year-old girl, and she got to go up and announce a player.
Right.
She got to throw out a first pitch. Got a party sitting down at the patios.
Happy
It was
birthday on the
awesome.
dugout.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really cool. Yeah, sang with the people that had birthdays
Yep.
and name up on the screen. I mean, it's a big deal for a really good package.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's always, and you certainly get all walks of life out there.
If
which
there's
keeps
anything,
keeps it lively.
it's a good time for people watching at the ballpark.
Yeah, absolutely.
Game
absolutely.
watching, people watching.
Yep.
It's good times for everybody.
So, I mean, I remember one time people were leaving. Our folks usually try to stay at the gates and just thank people for coming.
Yeah.
And did you have a good time tonight? And one lady said, I had a great time, and I hate baseball.
Huh.
We thought, well, there you go.
Well,
that's perfect.
You win.
Yeah,
You win.
That's
for
a
the
win
night.
for us. So
It is always a good time. Got great staff. It's a lot of fun going out too.
Absolutely.
And it's one of the most economical times you'll have too.
Absolutely.
At a sporting event with the family. So
Yeah.
you guys do a great job.
well, thank you. We
Are
appreciate
tickets
that.
on sale now already? And
Individual, like ticket books and season tickets and suites and birthday parties and all that stuff is. Individual tickets will go on sale March 17th.
coming up.
March 17th, it's actually a Saturday, St. Patty's Day.
Day.
Everybody probably knows that. We actually have an event at the ballpark that day. Free event, be from 10 to 1. We'll have the bounce house up. Maybe people can get on the field depending on where that.
If there is one.
Typically, yeah, if there is one, maybe they can play in the sand.
Yeah.
So typically they can get on the field, but we'll do. It's just a free event. Be a great chance for people to come out and check out the video board
Yes.
and all the renovations. And we still usually sell concessions at a discounted rate that day, and just a fun time to come
It's
out.
kind of like just
It's
a
free.
welcome out, check it
Welcome out,
New
right? You bring
season.
your kids. If you got kids, they can go bounce house for free, carousel for free, speed pitch for free.
Very cool.
And just a good activity and a lot of fun. Everybody come out and
Excellent.
enjoy it.
Remind us again of opening day.
April 12th.
April 12th.
Thursday, April 12th.
Oh, you
Home
start
opening.
off on a Thursday,
Start
Thursday?
off right on a thirsty Thursday.
Look, Moose is going to buy his tickets online right now.
That's right. Are you thirsty?
Yes, we are always thirsty on Street Circle Drive.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much, Mark, for being here. We really appreciate it. We've
Thank
been
you,
talking
guys.
for a while about getting you on here, and seemed like appropriate timing with how much you have going on. So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah,
Enjoy it.
man.
absolutely. We look forward to all the fun stuff that's coming up, specifically Crawl Moms. Hey, if you're doing that big event on the St. Patrick's Day, I just suggest you don't try to change your name to the Leprechauns or anything like that, because
Oh, come on.
people are onto you now.
Crawl,
It's-
Crawlicons?
Lucky Dads.
Crawl.
I don't know, Lucky Dads. I like that.
The Lucky Dads.
Yeah.
Maybe
never know.
maybe we'll Lucky Dads and give out some free Lucky Charms.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good times, Mark.
Never
Thanks again for being here. Now, hopefully you'll stick around because we do have some important event information that Moose is going to relay. And then we have an interesting restaurant review.
I wouldn't miss it for anything.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Moose,
Nice.
take it away.
So, most listeners, we dabble in local politics and like to talk about things that are impacting our community and people that impact our community. Recently, we lost Vernon Charlton, who is or mine, since I live in Ward 2. And he's and his replacement is the process is going through right now. And
Wait a minute. Do we all live in? I live in Ward 2. You live in Ward 2?
We all live in Ward 2.
You don't. Mark, do you live in Ward 2? No, you don't.
Where is it?
You don't live in Ward 2. He lives.
No, I don't live in Ward 2.
You don't
I think I live in 5. Do I live in 5? I live near the ballpark.
Yes.
5 or 6, I can't remember.
Lenore Road.
Yeah.
Old
So yeah,
I think
because
I'm
you're
in
close
5.
behind Holy Trinity and stuff.
Is that Zagaroli's? Is he 5?
Yes.
Yes.
I think I'm
So
in Zagaroli's.
We're all the 3 hosts. We're all in Ward 2. So this is our ward.
Right, our ward. And to fill Vernon's vacancy, there's an application process that has been going on, and 8 people have filed and have been approved for application. And we're going to kind of go through those folks right now and let you know who is running. The process is that these folks have applied, and the city council will be appointing them on Thursday.
No, the
Tuesday.
interviews are on Thursday. Appointing on Tuesday.
Appointing on Tuesday. Okay.
Six.
You had one job, Moose. Come
Right.
on.
I know. Right.
Good
So
gracious! You've even got a computer in front of you.
I know. Right. I'm just staring here, looking at Ryan Edwards right here, just staring back at me.
Well, tell us.
Speaking
about
of Ryan Edwards here is he's involved in the PEF. He is the co-owner of Southeastern Retirement Planners. While I'm talking about all this, you can find all their biographies and all that good stuff on HickoryDailyRecord.com, and the article that I'm referencing right now came out a few days ago. So I'm just going to kind of go through the list, and we can get back and talk about these folks as we need to. But like I said, there's 8 of them: Ryan Edwards, Benita Ferretti, Lou Wetmore, who was previously ran for mayor against Hank Guess, Ralph Griffith, Charlotte Williams, who is a professor at LR. So is Ralph, by the way. Nancy Meeks, Alan Finley, Cliff Moon, and that's it. So, a lot of these folks have been in the Hickory political limelight for a while. Like I said, Lou ran against Hank and Will Locke. Cliff Moon is a Democrat. He's been he's ran for office a few times. I think there's a few front runners here, but who knows? Who knows how it's going to flesh out?
Is this like a handicapping show?
It could be.
Are you giving odds?
Yeah, we can.
Are you giving odds?
I've seen you at action on the tables, Mark. If you wanna
do this.
participate, you go right ahead.
Here, we'll handicap
I'm
it.
not giving odds.
I'll give odds.
The CrawDADs are neutral. The face
You
of the
accept all
CrawDADs-
sponsors.
Yes, as the face of the CrawDADs, we stick neutral. So I was hoping you guys. I was interested. To
Well, we'll
see
give
what the
you
odds
our odds. I'll give you my odds. I think Ryan's 3-1. I think Benita Ferry, she's a low dog. She's probably 10-1. Lou Wetmore, since he's in the political spectrum, I will give him a 2.5-1 odds there. Ralph Griffith, he is he's a stalwart in the progressive community. We're going to give him 4-1. Charlotte Williams ran school board, had been in political office before, correct?
Yeah, she started on the school board.
6-1. We're going to give Nancy Meeks here. We're going to give her a solid 8-1. Dark horse, Alan Finley, best friend of Vernon Charlton. We're going to give him a 15-1. Cliff Moon, 7-1. Is that okay?
I don't know. I don't know what just happened.
Well, Mark asked me to handicap him.
Planning. None of this was planned. So back to your planning.
You can tell he's just throwing it off the top of his head.
There it is.
Those are just numbers. I mean, just throwing them out there. You never know. And you got to
Mark?
remember the thing about Vegas. It doesn't. They don't predict who wins.
They predict how to
the
get
money.
money
They
on
want
both
even money
sides.
to come on both sides. So all that is
What's it gonna
based
take to
on
get
is
the
what
money on
money's
both
going to come
sides?
on both sides.
Yeah.
You
Well-
know, where are the bets, and all based on, you know, different factors play into it. You mentioned the political, how maybe some of them have been involved in politics, some of them haven't. How long maybe they've been in Hickory, how many people they know, what their other community involvement is. So all those things, you can
just-
see it turn.
Yeah, I mean,
all those
I'm-
things factored in.
I'm
a
like
matter of
freaking
60
Rain Man
seconds.
over here giving you odds on the
60
spot.
seconds, he just-
www.moosebook.com.
That's
Place
right.
your bets.
That's right. Wait,
I mean, I did. Okay, full
it's for
disclosure.
entertainment purposes only.
Full disclosure. What happened last time we went on a podcast and handicapped? How did that end up?
Oh, are you talking about you and me?
Yeah, me and you.
Sports?
Yeah,
You did a
I
little
picked.
bit
I picked better than even money, man.
Yeah, you did.
It was football, not
Hickory politics.
people's lives that we're,
Same.
trying to get to come on the show later.
Same.
My goal is, and I think as McNally said earlier, we're going to put out the bat signal. We really are hoping for whoever the new alderman is for Ward 2 to join us on Street Circle Drive after they take their seat.
It's a great opportunity for anybody to be plugged into their city and their city's leadership. So this Thursday at 5 o'clock is an open session where these candidates will be interviewed by the current sitting Hickory council meeting. Excuse me. They will be selecting the new representative for Ward 2, who will carry out the remaining roughly year and a half before the next election for that seat.
I've read the article in the paper. What's the format of that interview? Do you know?
No, I don't.
You know what I mean? Do they all just sit there and they say,
No.
all right.
Is it like Battle
Mary
Rumble? Are they
Margaret,
all
here's
together?
your question. Moose, here's your question. And they all sit there together? Are they bringing them in one at a time and ask them all the same three questions?
My assumption would be you have to do one of two things. You either have to do random questions and set it up almost like a candidate forum where they're sitting next to each other.
Right.
And everybody has to answer a question first, and then you just kind of roll around, or you bring them in separately because you can't do anything else without somebody being absolutely prepared.
Yeah, that's a lot of
it's a lot of people that
You know what I
that
mean? That's
signed
a
up.
lot of people. If you do
That's
a
why I
forum,
think-
a forum,
They have to do it for them. Or
I
else
think I'd bring them in one at a time and say, ask all the same, each person the same three questions or whatever
Right.
it is.
You should loan them the wrestling ring you bring out there at the CrawDADs and let them
There
just
you
go
go.
Royal Rumble for Ward 2 right there.
Absolutely, last one standing.
Yep.
Oh, I got to switch my handicap if we're doing that.
That changes things a little
It
bit,
does.
doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a lot of people, which is
It's
nice
great.
to see because that's community involvement. That's people that want
is
to be
great.
involved. And
It's a lot of people that are also interested in it, but might not want to run, actually
Exactly.
raise money and run for office.
Right.
First time is a great way. So all these people are engaged, and it's just a great
It's a
way for
great
them to
way
be involved
to be
and
a
test the waters.
possible stepping stone, right? I'm excited to see some of the names on this list,
Yeah,
and
right.
so
Me
I
too.
think there are definitely some options, if you will. Like, you know, I don't hate everybody on the list. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I don't hate everybody on
Wow.
the list,
Stick
but
your neck out there, guys.
Big shoes to fill.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Vernon
Absolutely.
was a great fellow and did a lot of great things for our city. However, I will say it. I don't like the process. I think the Ward 2 should be able to vote for their representation, and I know that's the
Well,
way
they
that it's
will.
set up. I know
They will.
in 2019.
Yeah.
but that's
When the actual,
a year
like,
and a
wouldn't
half.
have
That's
time for that, though, is there?
Is there?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. How long? Because you'd have to raise
time
money.
and
to
money.
get
I mean, there's only one. Okay, there's only really one polling place. So like the logistics in Ward 2, I think, right?
Well,
where do you?
Yeah,
you
but
can't
you'd
just do Ward 2 because our city doesn't elect based on wards.
Yeah, based on the whole city. Plus, you'd have to you have to give you time, for
That's
instance,
true.
to get your name out there, and
Yeah.
you know all the stuff
Right.
that goes into the process of getting elected. You know, because they'll start a
And this
year
is-
because it goes 2019, right?
Right,
Yeah.
2019.
Year and a half.
In a year, in a year from now they'll start running. I don't know what the-
Filing would be next
at
February.
least,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Next
Less
February.
than 12
Or
months,
it's
they'll
off year,
already
it'd
start
be
running.
next spring.
So I don't think. While I agree with you, I don't know if it's the best process, but I don't know if there is another way.
Well, this is another
to
reason
just
why
fill this gap.
Yeah.
we don't vote as wards. All these folks are in there. We all selected these people to serve in this office. If you can't select people that are going to lead this community, then then we've got other problems
Yeah.
beyond how
Yeah.
this election takes place. I mean,
Right.
we need to trust those people to take this leadership stance. If we don't, one, we need to show up to regular meetings, be involved, and two, like you said, all right, we got a year to really figure this out.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's I'm fine with the process considering it's filling a spot. I mean, it's got to be done sooner than later. You don't want that seat sitting empty for too long. We unfortunately had to go through it with the mayor, and we had an interim there. And so, I like I said, I don't know if it's the best way or not, but I'm glad to see 8 people going out for it. To show that interest. And then hopefully in another year, maybe they get a taste of it this time if they kind of see like, oh, I didn't get it, but I'm a little more invested now. And now I'm going to try for the real deal through a campaign, if you will, come next year.
2 questions. One, I wonder when the last time they had to fill 2 spots so
quickly.
Such a tight
Probably never.
time. And then I wonder what the actual format is. So say each, is it a public vote? What if each council member votes for somebody different?
I know, we were just discussing that.
Yeah, we were talking about that at lunch.
Because that is interesting.
Because
how does that
we were
work?
wondering, I mean, the interviews are Thursday, and then the actual appointment's going to come on Tuesday. And so I was under the assumption that the voting happens on Tuesday as well, meaning each person places their vote. I don't believe at the beginning of city council they're going to be like, okay, over the weekend we tallied the votes of all 6 of us, and here's your new council member.
That's a closed session worthy.
Right. I think it has to be public, right?
Yeah.
But how do you...
You're very limited in the
Just
things you go
interesting.
into closed session for. It's contracts and personnel.
Yeah.
It's things within economic development
Right.
reach. I don't think this is one of those things protected under closed session.
So do you...
Now, that doesn't mean...
just the voting point is part
Yeah.
of it.
It doesn't mean you don't sit there and talk individually about who you think and who you think and you manage it. You don't want to go out there as the mayor or any other candidate and say, all right, we've got 5 votes and there's 5 different choices.
Right.
Oh, now we got to do it again. You don't... That would not be the good look.
Yeah.
So there'll be individual conversations over that 4-day period.
Right.
I think
is interesting.
Yeah, and that's fine, because what I'm hoping is that out of the 8, there's going to be a couple of front runners that are the clear and obvious choice to a lot of the council members, to where
Then you'll have dialogue.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's going to be this is our obvious top 3 or something like that. Who knows?
Going to do it Thursday because it says appointed on Tuesday. That just means the person's basically going to get sworn in, right? And that
I don't know. I
guess
don't know.
there's loose interpretation in that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
I don't know.
that is very interesting.
I mean, Moose was supposed to be reporting on this, so I haven't quite.
But Thursday's a great opportunity for people to attend, to show up, to get involved and engage in the process and meet these folks. I mean, all these folks are obviously they care about the city and they've been involved in many other ways. So.
Yeah.
Moderating it. I didn't see that either.
I think moderation would be a loose. I'm sure it's between the mayor and the attorney.
Well, I was about to say, I bet a city employee sitting there saying, "All right, sir, your turn."
Because all it is timed.
It's
But
pretty.
with 8 people. It's not like there's 2 people.
Yeah.
8 people is a lot of people.
It's intriguing. It's pretty. I'm curious.
I've
I want
been
to
in
know
some
more.
long city council and county commission meetings
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
This one could be one of them.
Yeah, interesting. Well,
what are the odds on it getting heated?
Oh, 1 to 1. It's even money. It's even money right now.
Especially if they all sitting next to
Yeah,
each other.
if they're all in the same
If
room.
they come in one at a time, obviously no. But if they're all together and 8 people trying to talk over each other and
there's definitely some strong personalities on that list.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens.
I am too.
We're going to have a new council member come Tuesday. Next time we have this show, we'll be able to report fully on what did go down and what Moose's predictions bring.
That's right. Maybe it won't be so crazy.
Where's the Thursday thing? Is it in the council chambers?
Yes.
Okay. So Thursday, 5 o'clock, council chambers, the interviews.
Right.
Which I wonder if that's enough space.
The-
You figure you have 8 people and they each bring their family and a few friends. Room will be full, and not to mention city employees and all that. Room will be filled up in no time.
And I'll tell you that City Council on Tuesday, March 6th, which is next Tuesday, is when they're obviously announcing the new appointment. But that is also when all of the boards and commissions under the city are requesting their work plan approvals. So it'll be full house.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be at
Bring a sleeping bag, folks.
It'll be a full house, full meeting.
right.
Yeah. Clear our full hearts. We got to have it.
Settle all this with
Yeah.
the wrestling ring, I'm telling you.
So you guys are all in Ward 2, right?
Yep.
Where are your names? Silence. Silence. We're going to have to cut that.
Yep.
That's a tough gig.
There's a
I
part of me
admire
that
them.
would love to do it.
I admire them, but that is absolutely a tough gig
Yeah.
for all those folks. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
I got priors.
no matter what you do, you're going to have people mad at. I mean, there's no
And
pleasing
honestly,
everybody.
Credit to the people for putting their name in that.
Absolutely.
They don't
And
know
they're
the
current
full
people, too.
what's going to happen, but they know a little bit of what
Yeah.
we're
Oh,
getting
absolutely.
into.
Yeah.
Anybody that runs for office, it's a tough gig.
Moose has a history. He
I got
can't be-
priors, man. I
yeah,
can't do that.
Can't be brought up.
See, this would be perfect. Short turnaround, then I have time to research that stuff.
Yeah, right. I've already done my research on all these folks. I'm just kidding. I haven't. You can tell.
Well, it will be exciting, and hopefully all those listening will get out and get involved in this as well, whether you go watch it or support it or at least support whoever comes into office. So looking forward to that.
That's right. And if you don't like it, you run. Isn't that right?
Take that.
Take that.
Absolutely.
Goodness. All right. Time has come. I've tried to stall a little bit, but I can't do it any longer.
Oh, man. Here we go.
We went on a restaurant review, as we do every show. And as most listeners know, this is our favorite thing in the world to do. 1, we like to eat. 2, we love Hickory. And 3, we love Hickory locally owned restaurants. Okay. So it's ideal. It's perfect. We've had amazing visits thus far.
Yes.
That's right.
It.
And we are getting ready to poo-poo all over this other place.
I don't know if we're going to take that route, but let's just say that we had a unique experience today.
It was crazy.
Some may call it crazy.
Crazy.
We attended the Crazy Grill.
Attended. Like it was some sort of event.
It was an event.
Yes.
It was a unique event. It was a crazy time.
Tell them about the Crazy Grill.
Okay, so Crazy Grill is located, for every Hickory nut out there that's listening, you will know this as the original Max's. Max's Mexican Eatery Discover. That used to be the commercial on TV when I was growing up. Anyway, so it
True
used to be
Hickory
Max's.
directions. You got to name all the iterations of restaurants it's been. Now go.
It was Max's. It was sweet potatoes. It was roasted tater. It was Il Bambini for about 3 days, and now it is Crazy Grill. So
Arriba.
a while back, several of us noticed online that if you followed Il Bambini Grill on Facebook, that the name of their page changed to Crazy Grill. And all these people, much like the Crawl Mom fashion, were going, wait, what's happening? What's going on? Is this a new restaurant? Is this new ownership? And there were just people saying, nope, new restaurant, new ownership. Okay, so that's almost like saying, no, we're going to be better than the 3 weeks that Il Bambini sat here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I was intrigued. Then I drove by one evening, and they had repaved the parking lot. And I was like, heck yeah, repaving a parking lot. That's a good sign. Second night, I drive by, they're painting the building orange. I'm like, putting a little sweat equity into it. I get it. Granted, this is in the same building that we reviewed two times ago when we went to Center Street Eats.
Yeah, it's in the same complex as Center Street Eats.
Yeah, how long
also
ago
next
was that?
door to Dante's, which we've also reviewed.
Yeah, so, they're all in a little row right there.
They are.
It's right in the hot end of Viewmont, so, I mean, it's easily seen. All right, so they've got a new driveway, new parking lot, new paint color, and then the next night they put up neon lights, and it's pink and blue, and it says Crazy Grill on it.
So if you just saw Crazy in the G part of grill,
It looks like, what does it look like?
Looks
Crazy
like-
Girls.
Yeah,
Bam.
it does. It kind of looks like Crazy Girls, and it's got a neon. Like the neon doesn't help.
which we can't ding that too much because guess what? We still chose to eat there today.
We did. I mean, let's be honest. You chose this spot today, but whatever. So,
under the bus, McNally
so we went to
goes.
Crazy Grill. We get in there, and it is extremely
Barren?
sparse. Is that the word?
It looks like they just opened.
They did.
Right.
Okay. So there's really nothing on the wall.
One TV.
There is a TV hanging up, which, ding, in my book, they're playing the Food Channel, and you never play the Food Network in a restaurant because you're looking at food that looks better than yours, no matter where you are. Okay. So there were some wooden tables that I'm pretty sure are left over from roasted tater. The bench style seats.
Like picnic table.
Yep. And then there were some regular restaurant tables, and it equaled up to about 12 tables total throughout the whole place. And that was it. There's nothing on the floor, nothing on the walls, nothing on the tables, no decor anywhere, really, right?
Right.
Okay. We tried our best to look around for a sanitation grade, couldn't find it. But we decided to move forward and press on. Then we opened up the menu, and this is Hickory's largest menu, right?
It kept going.
Okay.
Most diverse menu, I should say.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
Okay.
Crazy.
McNally, why don't you give us a rundown of that menu? You were so intrigued by it, you took a photo.
Yeah, but I couldn't get the whole daggone menu in my photo.
Because it was that crazy.
So, but basically, I remember just sitting there and we talked about this, but it had sections for appetizers,
Yes.
soups,
Yes.
salads,
Yes.
sandwiches,
Yes.
vegetarian,
Yes.
3 items on the vegetarian menu, burgers, hot dogs, pastas, desserts, and then specialties, which, if you read all the specialty items, was Mexican food, but they called it specialties. So, was it specialties? Yeah.
Specialties, yep.
That was the menu. And
Yeah.
I'm of the ilk by just looking at this, and I said, if you try to be everything to everyone, it's a hard row to hoe.
Absolutely. So, we were served chips and salsa when we sat down. So
Yes.
that would allude to Mexican in most
yeah.
other cases here. And then, like I said, then we opened up the menu and it was like hot
Kept going.
dogs and Carolina burgers.
Yeah, well, let me
right?
start right there. The salsa was pretty good, I thought. I think it was the best thing I had.
Second best thing for you had.
Oh,
Yeah, it was the second
We'll
one.
get to that later.
Yeah,
but that
we'll
was,
get
you
to that.
had something that
Yeah.
definitely was better.
So we typically try to order something different from each other. Like we try not to order all the same thing, and get a little taste of the menu, which makes it difficult in this type of restaurant because the menu's so freaking big that you had to order multiple things. McNally got back on his train and
Well, I'm just here
ordered
for the
2
people.
meals.
There was a lot of stuff. So I'm trying to cover a little bit of the breadth, and I had to get from different categories.
Mark, see, we've been doing this show for a while now, and McNally got in trouble with his wife because
And my
one
doctor.
and his doctor, yes, which one because his lunch bills were becoming incredibly large, and 2, his doctor realized he was eating 2 meals every time he went out to lunch with us. So McNally thought he was doing it for the people when really he was not doing it for his heart.
Yeah.
And
I need to be more selective with my friends.
so January started.
Sounds like
New
you need a
Year,
doctor.
new McNally, and so today he kind of fell off the wagon a little bit.
Uh-oh.
But
I got water.
he
Well, there
did
you go.
get water.
Eat a
all
whole
right.
cow and get water.
Yeah.
It's like the guy supersize it, but I want a Diet Coke.
give me that diet. Give me that diet. About that diet life.
All right. So Moose, what'd you order?
I had off the specialty section of the menu, I had the Acapulco plate. Say that 3 times fast.
Acapulco plate.
Acapulco plate. It was a piece of butterflied grilled chicken. Looked like it was hammered on the grill.
Which you like.
Which I like. I
Yeah.
like the way that Mexican style restaurants prepare their grilled chicken. They flatten it out. It's typically good. It also came with rice and beans and sweet plantains. And I'm going to Pollyanna this thing. The sweet plantains were absolutely fantastic. They were great. They were the best
did
thing we
rave
ate.
about them, yes.
The best thing I had. I thought the salsa was great. The chicken, rice, and beans were much to be desired. The chicken was quite dry. The rice tasted like it was scraped off the bottom of a pan, and the black beans came straight from a can. McNally, what did you have, bud?
Wow, way to sell it. What didn't I have? I had a Cuban sandwich because one, I love some Cuban sandwiches if they're done well. So I figured this would be a good barometer for me to test it among other ones. I didn't have fries or anything with that, so I got a side of French onion soup, and then for my people, I got the Carolina hot dog.
We were not at J&S, by the way, guys.
It came with
Could
chips.
Could you not sample all these and take? They have to-go boxes at all these places you eat,
Yeah,
right?
no, but you got to be able to report on the show.
I mean, not necessarily you can eat some of all of it. You don't have to eat all of it.
I didn't eat Moose's chicken.
He's a champion.
I did try his plantains though. I did try his plantains. They were good.
They were off the chain.
And so So that's what I had. I guess the big thing was the Cuban sandwich it wasn't bad. I didn't have anything that was bad. I didn't have anything that I would crave and seek out the next time. The hot dog was good, but it was basically, it's a hot dog. The chili and the slaw on it was good, and it did not take me long to eat the hot dog. It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, pub chips are pub chips. It's kind of hard to mess that up. The Cuban sandwich. Okay. It just seemed like something I could make at home. In a lot of restaurants, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it seemed like something that you could get from a sandwich shop. And to me, if you're going to offer sandwiches at a sit-down restaurant, they needed a little more of large menu. It's hard to have specialties and really own something. I think the Cuban sandwich could have, but they really piecemealed some of it and put it together. It was good, but it's nothing I'm going to seek out again. The French onion soup was good. They actually melted the cheese on it good. Overall, we always do our scale. Should I bust it out?
Yeah, go ahead and bust it.
I'd give it 4.5 out of 10. But part of that is they probably needed a soft opening. They probably need to work it out from staff and everything. They want to do well. The first thing I would tell them, honestly, is cut their menu in half. Find out what you do well and do it better.
Mary Margaret?
I went to the far right side of the menu and went to the pasta section. I ordered the build your own pasta. I got penne pasta, Alfredo sauce, and I added mushrooms. Big bowl came out of pasta that was cooked all the way through, and beautiful grilled mushrooms on top, sauteed mushrooms. And the mushrooms were fantastic. The pasta and sauce was noodles and sauce. It was not.
Charlotte could make it.
My children do make it, actually. They enjoy that very much. So I also ordered a cup of the chicken noodle soup because they had two soups on special. It was chicken noodle or French onion. And by special, they mean that's all we have today. And the chicken noodle soup, the broth was really good, and it had carrots and celery in it, and then it had tofu-like noodles, which were so thick, and they were rather gummy as I ate those, so I ate none of the noodles after my first one. But the broth was good. And I had water.
What would you give it for a rating, Mary Margaret?
Well, my food is fine.
Fine?
Fine. I mean, it was whatever.
Right.
But I really like to judge mine. I'm going to be rating today on some of the other things. One, I couldn't find a ratings, sanitary grade. Second is she didn't offer us dessert before she brought the receipt. She brought the receipt. It said thank you on it. She did not ask if we wanted dessert. I was curious about it because there was like 4 or 5 desserts listed. One of them was a fried churro, and one was
lemon meringue pie.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, clearly, that's what you put on the Crazy Grill menu. Also, whenever I was checking out, they, like many places, utilize Square now to pay with your card, and that was great. But she watched over my shoulder not over my shoulder, just clearly in front of me. She watched as I was to select the tip. And that just turns me off of any restaurant. As McNally said, when we walked out the door, that was a rookie move. And it was frustrating. I don't like seeing that. I give it a 3 out of 10.
Well, folks, I hate to break it to you. We really do try to talk up places and make the best out of situations, but it just wasn't there for me either. It's 3.5 out of 7.
Okay. Hopefully they
if it's there in 4 months, I'll try it again and see how they've improved.
I will say that McNally and I, being that we have children, we both agreed that this is the ideal restaurant for kids.
That with this menu, that is their window right there.
Definitely. They need some kids eat free night. Keep the same menu. Don't add a kids menu.
You could take 10 kids and they'd all find something they'd eat.
And they would all be different. It would be, they had chicken tenders on there. They have pasta. They have burgers. They have hot dogs. Where can you go wrong with children in this menu? Plus, the room was sparse enough you can let your kids run around if you wanted to.
It'd take 10 screaming kids to scream at me to make me give out.
It would meet the kid and exceed the kid palate.
Definitely. So, there is definitely that. If you are curious, again, Crazy Grill is located right next to Center Street Eats and Dante's on the in the old Max's, right there on 127 in Viewmont.
We hope they make it. We hope they do better.
I hope
We
every
they-
business succeeds.
And learns, yeah.
Every business, and maybe they are just learning from this, but hopefully they listen to this and learn from what we've suggested, and grow from it.
I've got a sneaky feeling they're not listening to this.
You know, who knows what those kitchen people
You
listen
never
to
know.
while they're working.
You never know.
Whatever. Moving on.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's it, guys. That's all we've got. That was a great jam-packed episode. CrawDADs, election, crazy grill.
Crazy
I mean,
girls.
I can't even say it enough how crazy that was. So,
Mark, thank you for being here.
Thank you guys. I enjoyed it.
I hope you know what you're having for dinner tonight now. Maybe. All right. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in to Street Circle Drive, your Hickory-centric podcast featuring your favorite Hickory nuts, right?
I don't even know what to say. You
I know.
stole my line.
I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. So make sure you follow us on social media under themesh.tv. You can also find out more of the shows on The Mesh over at our website, themesh.tv. And if you have any questions or feedback, you want to let us know what you think, email us at info@themesh.tv, especially if you have a restaurant for us to review. If you feel confident enough about your restaurant, we are happy to come in and tell you what we think. So, until next time, say goodbye, boys.
Goodbye,
So
boys.
long, Hickory Nuts.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.